When your health takes a turn for the worse, 1 minute you're a healthy person and the next minute you're all in types of medical need, you're living in Oz. When you don't have 2 nickels to rub together and your money is funny and your change is strange, anybody in here living in Oz? Everything might look familiar to you, but because you're in Oz, things are incredibly different. You're living in Oz, and you know you're in Oz when you repeat that famous line that Dorothy delivers in the movie, and she said, "Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore." Anybody ever had that experience? One moment you're bragging about the new car, and the next minute you got the repossession notice. God help me in here. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas now. One moment you're shouting about the raise you got on your job, and the next moment you got laid off that same job. Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. 1 minute you're bragging about that relationship and inviting everybody to your wedding, and the next minute you're going through divorce court. Somebody say, "Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore." The other thing that one must understand is that no matter if you go to church every Sunday and have the biggest Bible in the community, there's going to be a moment in your life when you experience odds. A storm is going to come. It's going to show up at your door. It's going to take you. It's going to displace you from your family, from everything that isn't familiar to you. You will wind up in odds. You will be disoriented. You won't understand heads or tails, or like Richard Pryor said, which way is up. I'm sorry to let you know, but we all will experience an Oz visit. Now, don't act like y'all ain't never been to Oz. Or if you haven't been to Oz yet, just keep living, baby. You will experience Oz in your lifetime. Somebody will get sick. Somebody will die. There will be some heartache. There will be some pain in your life. A storm is coming to your door. I hate to be the weatherman today, but I see a storm in your forecast. And if you act like there will be no storm in your life, just wait 15 minutes. After a while, a storm will come. It will show up in your life, and you'll be living in Oz. But consider this. Not only will we experience Oz, but many of our young folk are already in Oz and have been in Oz for quite some time. Consider, for instance, all of the mass incarceration in our community, where young men of color are filling up the jails. They're living in Oz. When you look at the graduation rate of African-American boys, which is only about 50%, you can see that we're living in Oz. When you see that it was more likely for a child of color to have both parents in the house during slavery than it is today. Touch somebody and say, "Yeah, we living in Oz." I'm here to tell you, don't think just because we have somebody that looks like us in the White House that Oz is not operating in our community, baby. Let me tell you, we're still living in Oz. This is not a post-racial situation. This is a situation where we're living in Oz. And Ruth and Naomi are women that were living in Oz. They were poor. They were without husbands. For a woman in biblical times to be without husband, you got to understand the great weight of that. For your husband to die, but then for your sons to also die is much worse. Because in those days, for women, their identity was always connected to a man. Whether it was their husband, their father, or their sons. The fact that an entire book is named after a woman who may come from Oz, from a foreign country, from a famine situation, is a powerful narrative that God moves beyond our own patriarchal patterns of how we think the world should operate, and God even moves in the middle of ours. Ruth and Naomi are women living in Oz, and this particular text gives us some idea as to how we can get out of Oz. And you may ask, Pastor, how do I handle my Oz? I'm glad you asked that question. Because I believe in this text we have some information as to how we get out of Oz. How we get out of the negative situation in our life. And I know somebody's saying just follow the yellow brick road, but let me take you on a different way this morning. First of all, my sisters and brothers, it's something very simple that's right there in the text. But it's also in the movie if you watch the movie. You'll notice that if you want to get out of your Oz situation, you have to learn how to survive your Oz. And in order to survive your Oz, you have to make sure you have the right companions. So the first thing you've got to do is you've got to make sure that you hang out with the same folk, with the right folk, if you want to get out of Oz. Yeah, you got to have the right companions. Notice, if you will, Dorothy had Toto. And I like Toto. Toto's my man. Because Toto rolls with Dorothy, and Toto says, you know what? I'm going to be with you to the end. If somebody jumps bad with you, I'm going to jump bad with them. And why is Toto so loyal to Dorothy? Because Dorothy was good to Toto. And so Toto said, I'm going to protect Dorothy at all costs. If it's a lion, I'll bite his tail. If it's a flying monkey, I'm going to chase him out the way. I ain't scared because I'm rolling with Dorothy all the way to the end. And look in our text. Here you have Ruth and Naomi in the middle of an Oz experience. And Ruth says, you know what? I'm not going anywhere, Naomi. I know that you lost your husband, yes, and I know that you lost your sons, including my own husband, but I'm going to walk with you. She says to her that your God will be my God. Your country will be my country. Wherever you go, I'm going to roll with you. I'm going to be down with you wherever you are. When you go through your own storm, through your eyes, you don't need fickle folk around you. And how many of you have experienced that? As long as things are going well with you, you got folk around you. But the moment you get in trouble, the moment you have need, the moment you get talked about like a dog with 5 legs and 3 tails, them folk that were rolling with you to the cookout, the folk, oh, y'all ain't gonna help me in here. The folk that were rolling with you, you can't find them with a flashlight. You need to have the right folk with you. If you're going to get out of your Oz experience. You need folk who are going to walk with you. You need a Toto who's going to be down with you. You need somebody who's going to pray with you. You need somebody who's going to support with you. I know that you've been through the storm. I know you've been through your Oz experience, but thank God you had somebody who was sticking right by your side. Sisters and brothers, you need the right companions when you're going through Oz. And we look in the text that Ruth and Naomi are rolling with each other. That's right. My ace boon coon. My road dog. My ride or die. Come on, somebody. And I know folk tell you that that's what they are to you, but the moment you get in trouble, call me if you need me. You need somebody who's going to be there even when you're wrong. y'all won't help me right there?